Welcome everyone to this video where we have India's young talent Gukesh taking on the very creative Jorden van Foreest at the Tepe Sigeman Cup that's taking place in Sweden. This was the first round and it's a very strong event that is happening. If we look at the players list, you will see that it has a very nice mix of young talents as well as experience. Gukesh is the top seed with 2732 with such a high rating. When you are top, one of the best in the world, you would be top seeds in many of the tournaments. But here, 7 round event. There's also Arjun playing. We already have made a video on our channel about Arjun beating Boris Gelfand in round 1. Here's Gukesh taking on Jorden van Foreest. Let's have a look at the game and try to learn from Gukesh as to how to play this against Jorden. So Jorden opens with d4, Gukesh goes d5 and he plays c6. Very interesting because lately Gukesh's main weapon has been the Ragozin, and this time he says, well, I want to vary a bit and I'll go for the Slav. They play the main line, bishop f5, knight c3 and e6. Knight h4, you want to win the bishop, but what black does is he goes bishop e4, sort of provokes f3 and then sits back on g6. Queen b3 played, and now there are two ways to meet this move because there's an attack here, either queen c7 or queen b6. He goes for queen c7, bishop d2, d takes c4. Now d takes c4 is not the most common way in this position that we see games. Very few games have been played, but Gukesh played it in 1 minute 26 seconds, so clearly it was his prep. Take, a6 played, and now bishop e2. He brought his bishop out on e7, long castle, and now came the move b5. And Black's main strategy here is to keep his king flexible. At some point he would like to go short castle, but also long castle is not completely out of the picture. Gukesh stays flexible. This his kind of positions. Takes on g6, h g6. You can see the rook has opened up. King b1. Taking such a pawn would be too much because I can take on h2, but I can also play moves like e4, and already there is play in the center, and taking h2 is not so useful. So Gukesh strikes on the flank with c5. Very good move. And after take here, by the way, you can't push here and try to open up the position because after c4, black wins the pawn back wins the pawn on d5. So dc5, and now I really like Gukesh's next move. He doesn't take here because if you take here, then g4, already white is pushing here, but he plays knight bd7. It develops a piece and also threatens to take here, attacking the queen. h4, he takes on c5, queen c2, and now rook comes out to c8. There are threats of b4 in the position, so g4 played. And the point is, if you play b4 now, then I have knight a4. So what Gukesh did first is he moved his queen back, and now b4 gains in momentum. Let's say if you play a move like h5, g takes h5, g takes h5, then b4 is very strong, because now if you play knight e4, there is knight a4, there is knight e4 attacking the queen. I've just removed my queen out from there. So that's the reason why rook c1 was played, so that if you play b4, I can play knight a4 and there's no more knight e4 business because c8 is hanging. This is where Gukesh takes a very strong decision and he short castles. Now, he understands the dynamics of the position. He understands that b4 counterplay is fast enough for h5 to not pose a problem. And when his opponent played h5, he came up with a very good solution here as well. Black to play. What do you do? So b4 looks like the natural move, but after b4 comes h takes g6, and white is better here. There's very complex play going on here after bishop c3, and so that's the reason why Gukesh first closes the king side with g5. Very nice move. And to h6 he plays g6. To h7 he moves king h8, and he now says your pawn is what is going to protect my king here on h8. a3, stopping the pawn coming to b4. Rook d8, b4 played here, and now it's your move what do you play here as black? Bishop e1 was possible, but b4 played. And now one idea is to take and play knight b3. This is a good position for black. But the other idea here is actually to play knight to b3, which is what Gukesh did. And after take, he took on d2. And he's clearly better because now his rook has entered, his queen is coming up, his pieces are well positioned, the h7 pawn is weak. But Jorden trades pieces. By the way, rook d1, queen e5 is better for black. So knight d1, takes on c1, king c1, and now king h7. And here you will see that already there's a lot of problems that white has. First of all, he's a pawn down. And Jorden tries to exchange queens here. And he realizes that if the queens are traded, like here, his resistance could be stronger because it's not so easy to create a passer on the king side. But Gukesh maintains the queens and in fact plays this really well. Queen e7, king e1, king g7. But at some point, Jorden starts to get play now. e4, bd4, good move. Queen d3. And now he plays the move queen f6. Again, a good move, knight h3. There are some ideas of taking here and then taking here. But fe4 is a very strong move. The point is, if you take here, I'll go knight d5. And now you can't take here. This is just wrong because I check and then I pick up on g5. And if you decide to take on e4 with the queen, then after knight c4, knight g5, there is queen f2 check, and black is winning here, knight b2 coming up. So that's the reason why knight a4 was a bad move by Gukesh, and this actually gave Jorden some chances to make a comeback. e5, g takes f5, queen h6, and now then the move king g2 would have given good defensive chances for white, but instead he played f4 defending his knight, but in came g takes f4, and Jorden thought his position is fine here with queen f3, because you know, if you give him one more chance, there is already this threat coming up, and also there are many possibilities here. Queen g2 check coming up, f6 check, and all of this, but he misses Gukesh's next move, which is a fantastic move. Try to see if you can find it, black to play. e4, deflection. You can't take on e4 or f4 because h3 hangs with a check. So he plays f6 and he's like, okay, if you play king f7 now, I'll play queen g4. It will give me counterplay. But Gukesh understood the needs of the position. He quickly took the pawn. This is what good players do. They are ready to transform. Even with this check, he realized this very nice move, knight b6, stopping knight d5 check. And now these pawns on a3 and b4 are going to fall off. So bd1, bishop b2, bishop c2, king came up, king d4, and took on a3, took on b4, and after bishop d6, the knight is trapped in the corner, and after knight d5, knight c3, the Jorden resigned. Gukesh scored his first win of the tournament and a very nice victory also against a very strong player. With this, what Gukesh has managed to do is he's gained some very important rating points because Jorden is 2689, and if you see here, he is already moved up to world number 17 with 2736, and if he gains a few more rating points, he might move towards 2750 mark. If he reaches there, he can enter the top 10 in the world. Will that happen or not? Only time will tell. Definitely possible in this tournament with 6 more rounds to go, and we will be following it. By the way, just so that you know, on 9th of May, Gukesh's Attack Like a Super Grandmaster is releasing. You can pre-order it now on ChessBase India. He had come to the ChessBase India studio from where I'm recording right now in the month of March, and we recorded it together. So check it out. You will be able to learn his secrets of attack, which he uses in his games. For now, this is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye.